Yeah. Okay. Now I'll be sharing my screen with all of you. I hope you can you all see my screen now? All right.
Yes.
Great. So
Yes.
let's begin and let's understand first mirror writing, why students write reverse letters. Okay. So mirror image, basically what is mirror image? Like when you're watching yourself in a mirror, you see the other side, a replicate side of your face, and it is very natural that there may be as it's written over here, it is only natural that there may be a few letters, formation, speed bumps or obstacles along the way. One possible obstacle that may occur is the letter and or number reversal. So it's not only the letters, numbers also, like 5 बच्चे उल्टा लिख देते हैं, 9 उल्टा लिख देते हैं, 6 को कभी 9 कर देते हैं. तो ये चीजें हमें, we see these things that our children do it. So reversing letters, words and sentences is also known as mirror writing. So this is what we have to understand first, that what actually mirror writing is. Okay, sometimes we get confused and we don't know that if my child is writing mirror, is it dyslexia, or is it some kind of learning disability or something like that, because there are so many terms these days that we get terrified and then we are worried about it. So mirror image is basically, first of all, we should not get we should not take this as a terror, and we should keep patience and we should work accordingly, and then we should evaluate that what it actually is. So mirror writing and implies exactly the letters are written in reverse. However, this is often corrected when looking at in a mirror. That's why we call it mirror image numbers and letters. तो जब आप उसको mirror में देखोगे तो वो आपको सीधे दिखाई देंगे, but otherwise those are in reverse position. Now, here are some points to consider when you are supporting a child that is displaying mirror writing tendencies. Now we know that my child is writing ulte letters, ulte numbers. Okay, we have seen this. We are telling ऐसे नहीं बेटा, ऐसे लिखते हैं, और सिर्फ उतना कह देने से things will not get better. So what all things do we have to do? Mirror writing is normal. First, we have to understand that it is a normal developmental behavior, right? There's nothing to panic about it. So there is a certain age group. There is a certain age group of 3 to 7 years. जनरली देखा जाता है कि 3 साल से 7 साल तक के बच्चे या 8 साल तक के बच्चे भी ये मिरर इमेज प्रॉब्लम हम उनमें देखते हैं, that they tend to write mirror image. So this is very normal behavior. First of all, we have to understand that. Then children who have excellent fine motor skills may still struggle with the reversal of letters or numbers. Now, what are fine motor skills? I'm sure that we all must be knowing about what are fine motor skills. Fine motor skills basically are those muscles in our fingers, small muscles, which makes our grip stronger and the ability to hold things in a better way. So those muscles are called this fine motor skills. So हो सकता है कि जिन बच्चों की फाइन मोटर स्किल बहुत अच्छी है, बहुत अच्छे से वो पेंसिल पकड़ लेते हैं, very nicely they can hold other things and crayons and colors and all, but then again वो बच्चे भी mirror image की प्रॉब्लम हो सकता है कि उनमें भी हो. Maybe they are also facing the same problem in spite of having very excellent fine motor skills. Right? And then both left-handed and right-handed children may struggle with letter reversal. Now, it's not that if a child is only left-handed, so left-handed child can only do that, this mirror image problem. It can't be in those children which write with the right hand, but it can be there with in the both cases, right hand also, left hand also. Now, mirror reading is also a thing. For example, students may read tip as pit. So basically, if you ever notice your child reading reverse words also, that also can be related to this mirror image thing. Okay, so mirror letters, mirror numbers and mirror words are also a problem, and all these problems first of all are very normal, and there's nothing to create a havoc or a panic out of it. First, we need to relax ourselves, and we have to take ourselves, we have to understand that this is a normal situation. So in all children who reverse letters have this, not all children who write reverse letters have dyslexia, but it's important to be mindful of this possibility. So first of all, we always see that okay, if this problem is there, तो हम panic हो जाते हैं कि this can be dyslexia. Is my child dyslexic, or I have to take some appointment from an occupational therapist or somewhere or so, which is not the first step. This is what I mainly want to say. So the first step is working towards that problem. All right, and if you do not see any results in spite of working with n number of ways, then this is the last situation where you should go to the professional, and you should go for this check or dyslexia thing. But initially I would never suggest, and I'd never suggest any of my parents and people who come across to me that should we go to somebody who is a special educator or something like that. So I always tell them that no, you first have to yourself have to try rectifying things and evaluate that, and then you should decide that what is it. Now why students write reverse letters and numbers? अब क्यों बच्चे लिखते हैं उल्टा? What is the reason? Okay, so let's read out what is written here, and each word which is written is a very meaningful word. Let's try and understand this. Imagine a mechanic. They learn how a car motor works before attempting to fix a specific problem. Okay, so there is a mechanic who knows that how to fix a car, and they are well versed with the knowledge, and they know how to fix a car. So that is to say that it's important to understand how a child's brain is working. So before you have to start working with the problem the child has, you should know how to work with that. तो ऐसा नहीं होगा कि आपको पता है कि ओके दिस इज द प्रॉब्लम बट आई डोंट नो द सॉल्यूशन, कि मैं उसे कैसे करूं, हाउ शुड आई डू इट, and you're just trying a number of things, searching Google and doing this also, doing that also, but that is not the right way. So the right way is to know ourselves first, that what should we do. So that is to say that it's important to understand how a child's brain is working through careful observations before looking at fixing specific problems. So observation is point number one. You have to see the learning pattern of your child, and you have to see कि वो कितना ज्यादा करता है ये mistake, कितना ज्यादा हो रही है, frequently है या कभी कभी है, या every time do I have to tell my child to you are writing mirror, आप इसको सीधा लिखो, या sometimes my child writes okay but sometimes he is writing mirror. So all this you have to observe first, and then it can be useful to read up on a few studies written on mirror writing and letter reversal. One significant explanation of letter reversal has been written by Mariano Sigmund. Okay, so this person is a physicist by training. Now what he has said is, now let's have a look here. Just a second. Yeah, it's important to understand that children who write with their letters reversed have not been taught to form their letters in this direction. Okay, so now the thing is that directional writing is point number one, which is very important. Agar koi bacha ulta likhta hai, for example, let me write here on the screen. Usually they write for like number 9. If I take example of number 9, a child might write number 9 as this P. Okay, but the first problem is, the first thing is that child has not learned writing it in a right way. Okay, so that is called the directional writing. So when you are introducing numbers and letters to your children, always make sure that you use that directional pattern, which I will be discussing later in the slide, it will come. So directional is like from where to start, where are you moving, and where are you going, and then you have to come down. राइट, तो आपने शायद हो सकता है बच्चे को ऐसे सिखाया, बेटा पहले आप सर्कल बना दो, उसके बाद आप यहाँ पे आके ये कर दो. ओके, और मे बी आप बच्चे ने ऐसे सीखा होगा कि पहले मैं ये कर देता हूँ, फिर मैं यहाँ पे ऐसे बना दूंगा. So this is the wrong way of learning a letter and a number. So the directional writing is very important. So therefore they will need to unlearn this subconscious behavior. First of all, whatever they have learned, the way to write numbers and letters, they have to unlearn that. Now how would they unlearn that? Is you have to restart. Restart. अगर बच्चा बड़ा है, बच्चा 6-7 years का है, तो obviously that child would grasp things quickly if you will restart telling, okay, introducing a number and a letter again to the child is important in right way. So that would be learning something and unlearning the old pattern that child already knows. All right. So this requires guidance and support from people around children, like parents and teachers. So this is point number one. All right. And then next, let's see what is next. That child is writing reverse and child needs to unlearn the way which child knows to write. That has to be unlearned. Okay, and this is called subconscious behavior. Now, what is subconscious behavior? We all must be knowing that few of the things, our mind just it does on its own. जैसे कि आप टीवी देखते देखते कोई चीज उठा रहे हैं, आपको पता है यहाँ पे स्पून पड़ा है, and you're not even looking at that, but you are able to pick up that spoon, right? And when you enter into your kitchen, you know everything. Where have you kept your sugar? Where have you kept your oil and butter and everything? You will not put any pressure on your mind. That is your subconscious mind, which already knows the things, that how, where is it. Without even looking at the specific place, we can pick up things in our kitchen or in our house, anywhere. So this is called the subconscious learning, subconscious behavior. So this is what in a child's mind, it's there, it's in their subconscious behavior, that this is how only I have to write my letter. This is how I will write it. So first of all, we need to understand that before correcting it, that, okay, this is a subconscious behavior of my child, and I have to make my child unlearn this first, and then learning something new, and then working accordingly. Now, let's see how to assess the children's letter formation. Now, each point here I will be reading out and explaining in detail. So if you are wondering the best way to assess and monitor your students or your child letter formation, these are some useful tips. Provide your, here it's written class because this presentation was made for teachers in the school. So that's how it is. It's written over here. Provide your class with a piece of paper. Now, all these activities you can do with your children at home as well. If you want to assess first of all, assessment is important. You have to assess your children writing pattern. कि वो कैसा लिख रहे हैं, वो क्या कर रहे हैं, observe करना बहुत जरूरी है. So first provide your class with a piece of paper and a pen or a pencil. Using a pen or a colored pencil ensures that student present their first attempt without erasing or correcting. Okay, whether if your child is a beginner only, like your child has just learned letters, is 4 years, you can just give in a playful manner, you can give some colorful chits and crayons, and okay, write letter A, write letter B. So you have to see that, is your child following the directional writing? How is your child writing that letter? First of all, okay, so let me tell you, if a child is very small, if your child is like just learned, is 4 years, 4.5 years, and just learned how to write alphabets and numbers, so you can play this game, give a chit, okay, colorful chits, or you also write, I will also write, you also write. So you have to observe that if you have told your child to write L, is your child writing like this, or your child is making the sleeping line first and standing line later? So, or he's writing like this, or he's writing like this. What is the way? Now, all four ways which I have written were different, if you have noticed, right? For this one, for the first one, this one, I wrote like this. This is the correct way, directional writing. Okay, the second one, I had made my sleeping line first, and then I had made my standing line. This is not the right way. And again, this is absolutely not the right way. So because this is what you will observe first, कि वो लिख कैसे रहा है. And same goes for small letters also. Same goes for words also. So this is for 4 year. If your child is 6 years, 7 years, 8 years and doing such problems, if you see that my child is writing reverse, I'll give one example of bigger kids also. You are telling your child to write down and, just a small word and, or any small word. The and में n उल्टा लिख सकते हैं बच्चे, d उल्टा लिख सकते हैं. So if your child is only writing, you have to check that what is your child writing first. वो a बना रहा है तो क्या वो a ऐसे बना रहा है बिना हाथ उठाए, या वो a बनाने के लिए पहले सर्कल बनाता है, उसके बाद पेंसिल को उठा के then he is putting the standing line, okay, और n लिखना है. So is your child writing N? How is your child writing N? Is he making only the bump on then this line? The D likh raha hai. So is your child writing D first? He's making a circle and making this. Or your child knows this is how D is written. So this is what you have to observe first. आपको observe करना है अपने बच्चे का writing pattern क्या है, what is the writing pattern of my child. Now ask your students to write the letter of the alphabet. Avoid using visual cues or clues or prompt in order to gain a true reflection of how students are progressing. Now initially you can show a letter, you can show कि आपको ये लिखना है, फिर आप hide कर लीजिए. Then you can hide, this is letter L, now write L. And then in the next round, you just tell them write L. Don't show anything. Don't show any visual clues, nothing. Okay. So this is how slowly you have to move ahead. Now don't interrupt. When your child is writing, you're observing your child. Do not interrupt, because if you will interrupt, you will not know the correct result. आपने interrupt कर दिया, उसको पता है अच्छा अच्छा अभी मेरे को L ऐसे नहीं ऐसे ही लिखना था. So this is the observation period. And observation period can be for a week. It can be for 2 weeks. It can be for a month. All right. So that's how you have to observe and keep the patience first. क्योंकि अगर आप किसी occupational therapist के पास भी जाएंगे, किसी special educator के पास भी जाएंगे, later अगर जरूरत पड़ती है, for God forbid, अगर if we have to go, so we should have our observation with us. I have observed my child, and this is the writing pattern of my child. Now I'm seeking help from you that what should I do? Okay, so then do not interrupt them in between. If they start writing capital letters or writing from the wrong side of the page, let them do it. Whatever they are doing, let them do it. If some students are finding it too difficult, don't push them. अगर उनको बहुत मुश्किल लग रहा है, okay, so don't push them, keep it easy. Just include them in a smaller group or activity. So we will see how we'll talk about it later as well. So yeah, once you have your samples, now you have your samples, group the students who are obviously reversing letters or having trouble forming their letters. So if you are working in a group, if you are a teacher, or if you have a set of children with whom you are working, and if you will do the same activities, you will get different results. Okay, as mother, you are doing it with your child, you will get to know that, okay, this is the way, this is I have observed, that's the way my child is writing. So you can make your own notes also. Day 1, what is your observation? Day 2, what is your observation? This activity, how my child performed. Because if you will have your notes in written with you, it will be easy for you to do a good case study on yourself as well. Okay, now some behaviors that you may notice in students. Now, while doing such activities, there would be certain things that you have to notice, and you will notice that students who struggle to work out the difference between B and D. Basically, yes, Ms. Kunjan, your hand is raised. Anything that you want to say?
Yeah, I want to ask something. Like you told us to observe. Like if he is writing the wrong letters, we should observe it for 15 days. Then we should correct him. Is that you are saying?
See, 15 days, I said that it can take a week also. It can take 2 weeks also. So 7 to 15 days is the time period. Okay.
That
so
means we need not to correct him. Initially,
yeah,
if he's writing.
Just observe. At least for good 2 weeks, you should observe the pattern. So this is what I was explaining, that अगर आप पहले दिन उसको बोल रहे हैं और अगर आप 8वें दिन उसको same instructions दे रहे हैं, observation period में you have to keep a check on that as well. Is this consistent problem, or somewhere in his subconscious mind he knows the correct pattern also? So this is what we need to check first. Observation period should be a good period of around about 8 to 15 days. You should give.
Like what I was like कि in case अगर उसने शुरू से उल्टा लिखा है, हमने एक बार उसको बता दिया, वो कभी सीधा लिख रहा है कभी उल्टा लिख रहा है, क्योंकि मेरा खुद का बेटा लेफ्टी है और वो एट टाइम्स ये चीजें करता है.
Okay, मैं आपको बताऊंगी. We will discuss everything like slowly as the presentation goes on.
Sure.
Okay, yeah. So basically, you will get all your answers, all your queries solved. So this is what observation period में ही हमें patience रखना है. This is what I'm telling you. Keeping patience is very, very, very important with our children, whether my child is 3 years or my child is 7 years. This is the basic thing. Patience हमारे में होना बहुत important है. As mothers, we panic. I understand. I'm also a mother. If I'll see my child doing this, I might panic. But yes, being into the field of education, I know how to deal with the problems, and this is why I am here to help you all. So if you will observation, why I said for 15 days at least, is that you have to check the pattern also. That is this problem consistent? or sometimes giving instructions, my child writes correct, sometimes he's writing ulta, sometimes he's able to write correct. So this all we need to know first before starting for solving the problem basically. So that's why I said if your child is 7-8 years, then your observation period can be 7 to 8 days. If your child is small, 4 years, then 4-5 years, then you can extend it up to 2 weeks and give good time to observation period. Okay. And yeah, so here we were discussing the letter B and D, which is the basic, and 99% children, they make this problem when they are in their early years and when they are just learning writing words and all. तो वो लिखते ही हैं. In fact, I have children who are in grade 3-4 who are taking classes from me. Still they are doing this B and D, P and 9 things. Sometimes it happens. So somewhere in their subconscious mind, it's still not unlearned, basically. That's why it is happening. So when you observe how they form letters, some students may begin their letter from the bottom of the letters. Okay, जैसे कि letters हो गए F और J, हो सकता है कि वो नीचे से शुरू करके ऊपर जा रहे हैं. Now, if they are writing F like this, नीचे से ऊपर, so that's the wrong way to write a letter. We all know that we have to start from the top and we have to then come down. So if, for example, let me write this letter over here, letter F. So what is directional writing? I'll explain that also in detail. So if your child is writing from the top to bottom and your child knows that I have to move this way, direction, the arrows are given. This arrow would be everywhere. The arrow will tell your child that बच्चे आपको ऐसे जाना है नीचे, आपको ऐसे नहीं जाना है. Okay, this is what we call directional writing. So अगर वो ऊपर से लिख रहा है and you have used directional writing, this problem will eradicate very quickly. But if your child is writing F like this, वो यहाँ आ गया. Now the child is confused. Where to go? Left or right? कहाँ जाना है मुझे? Because this is not directional writing. This is just हवा में उसने लेटर बनाना शुरू किया नीचे से, अब वो कंफ्यूज हो गया यहाँ पे आके, तो वो ऐसे भी जा सकता है और वो ऐसे भी जा सकता है. And this is where the problem starts if you do not follow directional writing with your children, right? So we have to understand first कि क्या हमने अपने बच्चे को correct way में letters लिखने सिखाए हैं, right? अगर आप पहले ही उसको बोलोगे अच्छा ऐसे नहीं है, ये D ऐसे नहीं होता बेटा, D ऐसे होता है, आपने तो बोल दिया, अपना काम हमने कर दिया, ठीक है, कि मुझे पता है D ऐसे लिखते हैं, मैंने बता दिया बेटा आपने ये B लिख दिया है, ये B है, इसको D करो, ये यहाँ नहीं होगा, ये ऐसे होगा. ओके, हम यही बोलेंगे, इससे ऊपर हमें कुछ नहीं पता, राइट? तो अब मेरा बच्चा कैसे लिख रहा है, क्या वो सर्कल पहले बना रहा है, अब सर्कल बना लिया, अब मुझे नहीं पता कि स्टैंडिंग लाइन कहाँ बनाऊं मैं, वो तो बेचारा उसमें आ गया ना कंफ्यूजन में कि मैंने सीखा ही ऐसे है, मैंने पहले सर्कल बनाना सीखा है, फिर मैंने लाइन डालनी सीखी है. तो अगर सर्कल पहले बन जाएगा तो ऑब्वियसली छोटा बच्चा है ऑलरेडी, सो द ब्रेन इज डेवलपिंग, ऑलरेडी सो मेनी थिंग्स द चाइल्ड इज लर्निंग, इट्स एम्प्टी ब्रेन एंड वी आर जस्ट फिलिंग इट विद सो मेनी थिंग्स. ये भी करो, मैथ्स भी करो, हिंदी भी करो, इंग्लिश भी करो, को करिकुलर भी करो और अच्छी बातें भी सीखो, जीके भी सीखो. सो टुगेदर, ऑल टुगेदर योर चाइल्ड इज, it's getting too much for a small child to learn all the things together. तो अगर आप correct way नहीं सिखाओगे तो obviously वो B और D उल्टा ही लिखेंगे. So this is the main problem. The starting of the problem is this. So they are not sure which way to do the curve. They get lost sometimes. So letters that have a circle in them such as A, D, students may write a few circles over and over while they try to work out which side a stick goes on. अब जैसे A और D लिखना है, similarly like I just told you for the letter D, A भी लिखना है. For example, they're writing A, तो ये तो बन गया, और फिर से ऐसे हो जाएगा एक बारी, कहाँ मुझे स्टिक बनानी है, कहाँ, where, I don't know. So वो यहाँ भी बन सकती है और वो यहाँ भी बन सकती है. And if your child is thinking, is confused, तो उसको कभी भी पता नहीं चलेगा कि ए सीधा होता कैसा है, ये होता है या ये होता है. वो आपने बता दिया, यू आर टेलिंग योर चाइल्ड बेटा ऐसे नहीं होता, ऐसे होता है, तो उसने उसी टाइम इरेज करके ठीक कर दिया, ओके ओके ठीक है मैं यहाँ डाल देता हूँ, ये ए होता है. बट उसे पता नहीं है अभी भी कि उसको कहाँ डालना है, कहाँ लिखना है, राइट? तो ये प्रॉब्लम्स होती हैं कि आपने सिखाया कैसे, हाउ द चाइल्ड हैड लर्न. और अगर कई बार हम नहीं सिखाते, हम उनको सीधा ही सिखाते हैं. लाइक फॉर एग्जाम्पल, मैं आई एम अ टीचर, आई एम टीचिंग हाउ टू राइट. आई एम गोइंग टू राइट, आई एम गोइंग टू मेक अ चाइल्ड लर्न दैट ओके बच्चे, बी इज अ स्टैंडिंग लाइन एंड देन वी मेक अ कर्व ओवर हियर एंड दिस इज लेटर बी. पर मेरे बच्चे को एक बारी में समझ में नहीं आया, right? I am teaching in a group and the child is reluctant to speak and ask me that I haven't understood, please explain me again. So वो अपने आप से क्या करेगा, 5 मिनट के बाद लिखना शुरू करेगा, or maybe he missed my instructions. Okay, so he will see, okay, B is this, he will start this and then he will automatically do this. उसको नहीं पता कि पहले मैम ने स्टैंडिंग लाइन बनाया था, फिर मैम ऊपर गई और फिर मैम ने ऐसे करके बम्प बनाया. So if your child has missed listening to your instructions, that is also a problem. वो अपना दिमाग यूज करके कैसे भी देखकर उसको कॉपी कर लेंगे, लेकिन वो डायरेक्शनल राइटिंग नहीं सीखेंगे. So in a group of 25 children, 30 children, it becomes difficult for one teacher also to see. अब मैं कॉपी चेक करूंगी तो मैं इसको राइट ही करूंगी ना. I will just pick this. But I don't know how he has written. He's just copied me. He hasn't understood the directions. So this we have to see that how the child is writing. Is the child following the correct way of writing or not? If not, then restart and make them relearn the directions of the letters. This is the main thing that we have to do. This is point number 1, which is important, and I'm saying it from the beginning only. So next, let's see what is next here. How to help children who have, now let's see how can we help kids who have this problem. Okay, so let's see what all help we can get from. So now lots of handwriting practice. Now I would not suggest that a lots of handwriting practice, but yes, on and off writing practice helps. Now the more practice you can do with letter formations, the better. Repetition is the key to change letter reversal. This is true that repetition would always help them, but I also have seen that children, they are not very happy writing, especially 3 to 8 years age group. They are not very happy to write a lot. Okay, so you have to see that what are the alternatives of how can you practice the formation. So this can also be done through tracing in the sand. Okay, through air writing it can be done, because my child is not a very happy child, happy in writing. पेंसिल दे दो, कॉपी दे दो तो टेरर आ जाता है बच्चों को. मैंने देखा है ऐसे बहुत बच्चे होते हैं जो नहीं लिखते हैं, and they don't like writing a lot, which is okay. Slowly, gradually, when they grow, they know importance of writing. But then it's not that कि वो लिखेंगे ही नहीं. We need to find alternatives for this. We can give them colorful chalks, write them on we can get a big board for them. Okay, so they'll do it with a chalk or play-dohs we can use. Okay, make the formation of a letter and write a word with the play-doh, and then also you can see that is the child following the directional writing or not. So basically, practice is important. Making that letter and word is important. Now it's not, and writing practice should be there also with the pencil, but always we can follow the other alternatives too. Now visual cues in the classroom. So here it's written classroom. We can even do this in our home. Visual cues are another aspect that will assist children who may be reversing their letters. I would suggest focusing on lowercase letters to begin with. Now capital letters are the letters which are taught when child just start learning writing, and because it's easy to make standing lines, sleeping lines, tracing and all, we teach them. But as they grow, the capital letters are used less. They're only used in the beginning of the sentence or somewhere where nouns are there. So more, we all know that more and more uses of print letters only. So visual cues, as in, can you see that what these flashcards on my screen, they have those arrows, right? So such kind of resources we should keep, and we should it should be, this is called the arrow is giving you the direction where your pencil has to go. So these kind of visual aids we should have, and we should keep them handy with us whenever we are practicing. Okay, so desk plates that have the letter or on them are also a helpful scaffold for students. Desk plates give students an extra boost and confidence. So desk, as in जब हम स्कूल जाते हैं या बच्चे स्कूल में होते हैं, So we have they sit on a desk, and on that desk also is full of resources. उसपे pictures होंगी या letters होंगे या कुछ होगा. So even we can also get a printout of these things, and we can paste it somewhere on the desk where your child is studying at home, or on a wall or anywhere. So and the child sees the direction, even if your child is doing it with a finger only, not writing with a crayon or a pencil, with finger only ऐसे करके वो उसके ऊपर भी trace करेंगे, so they will learn the directional writing. Right, so this is what we can do. And just a second, sorry, yeah. So hand-on sensory letter formation activities. So using hand, what is sensory activities? Would anybody like to tell me here what sensory activities are? What do you mean by senses and sensory activities? Okay, I'll explain it then. So sensory, 5 senses, we all know about 5 senses: eyes, nose, skin, right? Taste, hearing. So sensory activities means we have to think of such activities which a child uses through his 5 senses. Like all the 5 senses are involved. So try to find out such activities, multi-sensory activities we call them, where child is using all the senses and is learning whatever we want our child to learn. So using hands-on sensory activities with your student is also greatly beneficial, especially in the early year classrooms. These activities can help kids remember the proper formation by practicing writing the letter in a variety of ways. Now the activities which I was just telling you, like making the formation in the air with the finger, and as you can see behind this written text, can you see some buttons? With the buttons, there's a letter B which is being formed. With the beads and stones, there's a letter formed. So you have to collect. So if you are doing it with buttons, your child is feeling. There is a sense of touch also. It's learning the sound also, button, making the formation also with buttons only. So looking at multicolors also. So this is what this activity is, a multi-sensory activity. Right? So some letter formation activities ideas includes using shaving cream and getting kids to write the letter, creating the letter using Play-Doh. Shaving cream आप एक tray पे लगा सकते हैं. You can put shaving cream on a tray and then you can do. So that will be fun as well, and that would be learning too. And also creating the letters using Play-Dohs, which I already told you. Creating the letters using other objects such as buttons and rocks, using large sidewalk chalk on cement. So like if you have an open area in your home somewhere outside, give chalks to your child and just do along. See, we need to take out time. First of all, the thing is that if we will not take out time, then this problem won't be solved quickly, because there is a pattern which is called it subconscious mind, which learn things automatically. So which has been learned, and the child might grow up and this problem might stay if we haven't rectified it on the right time. We have observed, but we don't have time to do these activities, then there is no solution to it. Okay, now it is a completely normal developmental behavior seen in children up to the age approximately 7 years. I would say 8 years also. However, it can also be a sign of further learning difficulties such as dyslexia. Now, at stage number 1, I know that how to observe my child. First, I'll do that. Okay, I've done it for 8 to 15 days. Then I started working on my child's writing pattern. I've done that, whatever I just explained you have done it for a good 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. But still, when your child is writing on his or her own, the problem persists. Then it's alarming that it might be dyslexia. But dyslexia is something where child writes all the letters ulta. Like why, if you can see that E is also, and doesn't understand the line things, that child, that the letters has to be in specific in certain lines. It should not go out. The child is writing it mirror. So after observing, after working, giving directional, unlearning and then learning again, but still if the problem persists, which happens only, I suppose, if you are doing all this, and if this is a normal behavior in your child, considering that this is normal behavior, and you have done all the things, you have observed, you have worked over it for 2, 3, 4 months, this problem would go away for sure. It's only 2, 3, 10% that the child might not be able to do it. So then it can be referred to some special educator or somebody. We can just get all those tests done. They usually do certain tests and they see, and then they would give you a report whether it is dyslexia or not. So hence it's important to continue to monitor students who are struggling with letter reversal. Okay, so then the point is that okay, मैंने एक साल 4 महीना 6 महीना have good time I've given my child to do this without being panicking and keeping my patience also. So but I have seen that if it is a normal situation, then it will go away. If it is not a normal situation, then you might need the help after doing all the possible things that we just discussed. All right, so this was it. Any questions now are most welcome, and I would like to understand that anything else that I can help you with, any questions specific. It's open now to talk. So was this session of some help to all of you? You can all even write it in the chat box if there is any query.
Hi, I'm Vidya here.
Yes, please.
I would like to thank you first for all the resources you are sharing in the group. It's very, very useful for me, especially during this pandemic situation.
Thank you so
much. And my kid is really interested in all your activities you are sharing. And thank you so much. And I was blank how to rectify this problem, but I have got some ideas now. I'll work on this. Thank you so much.
Sure, most welcome. And also like if there are only specific letters, not all the letters, just do this for only those specific letters only. The directional writing thing, don't go for all the letters like A, B, C, D, A to Z. Specific agar B, T hai, and there are some activities also which I would like to mention, especially for B and D. If you Google also, you will get that if you make your thumb like this and this is going to give you standing line, and this is B. This is standing line and a bump over here, D. Also, I'll explain you some more things about B and D. So as you can do this, basically what do we do that in my class, how I do is for letter B, I usually tell them that B is a letter who eats a lot. Okay, and B is a letter who eats a lot, so it has a huge belly. So when I will say belly, only then I will make it on the right side. Okay, it has a belly, and then I'll just make it little more funny also by making some eyes over here. Look, this is B, and B has such a huge belly. Okay, jab aap belly banaoge, then you should focus belly and then make it on the right side. Make some legs and hands. Oh my God, I have eaten a lot. I have big huge belly. ठीक है, ये बनाया. अगर आप ऐसे करेंगे, like if you will draw this, you will make the these kind of cartoons or things, they will remember it. Mind it, they are so creative that उनको एक साल पुराना भी कार्टून याद होगा. Like if they have seen Peppa Pig or if they see some other cartoon which is their favorite, they would tell you the any of the episodes after a year or 2 year also, because they like it, they relate to it, and that's why they remember it. So similarly for the letters words, just try to make little fun for them. Okay, so this is how is belly, and similarly I'll say D is a small baby. Okay, so D is a small baby, and small baby wears a diaper. So diaper goes on the, so when you're saying diaper, so again, if you will make these drawings in front of them, you make a small baby's face over here with 2 hair strands. Okay, this is a small cute baby and it's crawling. So if you've made your drawings like that, make a safety pin also here, something like this to show that it's a diaper. Okay, so if you will draw these things, they will relate to it, they will remember it. The diaper ma'am made like this. So this, and you tell them D diaper, B belly. So, and also there are other things also, but I would suggest you to stick to one for good time. There are other things also to do B and D, right? But don't hop very quickly to the other idea. Just keep doing this with them for a good 1 week. Karke dekhiye aap. Do this for a week. And if it is, I'm sure it will work out 99.9%. It is going to work out. And when your child writes in the notebook, again, you will say, no, belly. So you just have to say belly, and the child would write B itself. Okay, so just a little time you have to give. And there is one more thing that I would like to tell you about. This is, I told you directional writing, I told you these type of activities, and one more thing that I would like to tell you is which we can do is you can act like your child is sitting like this, right? And you want your child to learn correct formation of B and D or whatever soever letters. So make that formation at the back of your child with your finger. Okay, just play a game. Tell your child, okay, you write a letter at my back. I'll tell you what letter was that. And then you also, and specifically pick only those letters which your child writes in a mirror image. Okay, and then make that letter on the back of your child with your finger, and tell your child to tell now which letter was that. So this, and you also have to follow the directional thing. You can't make circle first and make standing line then. Make it in a proper way, standing line and a circle. Okay, and then tell your child which letter was that. Is the child telling you B or D? Okay, so that's how also, no, this is B. So again you make it at the back. Now tell what is it. Okay, so this is how it will, the signal goes here when you are doing it at the back or anywhere, leg of the child or back is basically preferred. So the child is trying to give signals to the brain and is understanding the directions, and it is getting registered in the mind. Okay, this is how I write my B. So these 3-4 points you follow, you do directional writing with them, you do these activities, and you can always tell me that there are some messages in the box also. I'll just read them. You can always come back to me with the results and I can help you even more. And we will see that if anytime next we can have a session on this, we can always discuss that what are your observations and how to work on that. Right. So I'll just take a minute to read these messages if there is any question. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much for wonderful messages. Thanks a lot. Thank you for your time. I hope the session was useful to you. Thank you. So I'll be just ending the session now. Thanks a lot. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Rangatri.
Bye.
Bye-bye.